Hi everyone. Today we have Vicki Paquette here, and it's a pleasure to have her here. Um, would you like to tell the audience about a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Sure. My name is Vicki Paquette. I am a business owner. I have owned and run my business, Duxbury Fitness, for 12 years now. Started when I was 24, and I actually just recently started my second business, which is what I would like to talk about today, called No Jack Solutions. So the idea came from having gone through 12 years of owning Duxbury Fitness and running Duxbury Fitness by myself, kind of realizing where I needed help and the struggles with business ownership, which delved into what can I do alongside with this to help others. And that's really where No Jack Solutions was born, with the idea of creating a support system for other small business owners that might not be in a situation where they can jump right into hiring expensive consultants and just want somebody to be their sounding board, to be able to bounce new ideas off of, or just like, hey, we're trying this thing, it's not working, what do you think? And just have that support system to help with basic stuff like doing the footwork with the new ideas, or even starting up a new business. How do I start a new business? How do I look into licensing, or how should I structure my business? How do I handle Facebook ads? All of that, like all encompassing support systems. That's the birth of No Jack Solutions, and I'm hoping that it takes off.
Oh, I think it definitely will. Honestly, your company provides a solution that I think a lot of aspiring business owners don't even know that they need. They go on Google and they say, "Oh, I need to get an LLC. Oh, I need to get a business license." And then
Right.
tax time comes around, and they're like, "What do you mean I'm late? Oh, you're supposed to file quarterly." So, or depending on what formation you used to create your business. So a lot of them don't know that LLC is not for every business,
Right.
or little things like that that literally can either make or break a business. So I think what you guys do is great. Um, what so your fitness business, what I know that we're focusing on No Jack Solutions. Uh what what trials or tribulations or difficulties did you go through which made you realize that No Jack Solution was a necessity?
It really comes down to, it's lonely running a business. It can be, a lot of people go into it because it's exciting, or they have a specific niche that they're really good at. So I like to call that like the technician, right? Like somebody loves to bake. They're really good at baking. Everyone in their life pushes them to, oh, you should open your own spot. You're so good at this. So they do. And then they realize they're all alone wearing all these different hats. They're not just baking anymore. They're, starting a business. They're ordering inventory. They're having to advertise and market and hire employees, hopefully, and manage. And they're no longer doing the thing that they love, that they started with, which was the baking. So it can get so lonely, not knowing who to turn to. You have your friends and family, but they're not necessarily in business. They don't know, or oftentimes our friends and family are very quick to just be like, "You're doing great, it's awesome," and not really giving you what you need with constructive criticism, and just kind of breaking down those barriers of what's going on. Let's look at your structure, your processes, and work through that. So that's where I've felt in the last 12 years. As an entrepreneur, I think all of your viewers can probably agree, it's such this roller coaster of one moment you're like, this is awesome, I'm doing great, I'm gonna make millions, and then you're like, what am I doing? I'm gonna go bankrupt. How do I pay this is terrible. Who let me do this? I need to just like quit and go get a 9 to 5, and that's it. And it's this constant up and down. So that's where it was this idea of I love Duxbury Fitness. I love the fitness world. And I love helping people and helping people find solutions to their problems, which manifested through fitness, but has kind of shifted into this I think, a pretty seamless transition into helping with finding solutions to these problems of being the lonely one at the top, trying to not depend on your employees to fill that gap anymore. How do we get that support for one another to turn this big wave into a balanced, okay,
Yeah.
let's get through this.
No, I think that's great. I think that's great. I can see that you're a fan of the E-Myth.
Yes.
That's,
I read that years ago. Yes.
no, it's a great book. It's a great book. I'm glad that you've implemented it into what you do. It definitely shows, because that the manager, the technician, and the entrepreneur are constantly fighting with each other at all times in one brain. And yeah, it's terrible. But I see that you found some balance in it, which is great. Like family. Do you have like immediate family, children, husband?
Yes, I'm married. I have a husband. He actually helped me before we were married. He didn't know what he was getting into and helped me launch Duxbury Fitness. So I couldn't have done it without him. And we have a little boy who's 8 years old. So finding balance over, since having him has been huge. When it was a surprise when we had him. So I was in the midst of really launching Duxbury Fitness those first few years, and it was a big shock to suddenly not be able to do everything by myself. I have a child to take care of now, so I had to bring in employees and change the structure of things. So that really shifted. How do I still give this my all, but find balance and peace and not be crazy stressed out? I think a lot of times we put this, we make being busy and being stressed and chaotic out to be like, I don't know, some kind of reward, or like we're succeeding if we're crazy and busy and chaotic. And that's not how life should be.
That's actually a really good observation. A lot of people do typically measure their amount of success by how busy or how stressed they are. And I never really thought about that, but that's a really good observation, a really good point. Wow. Are there any tips or tricks that you use? I know a lot of people use charts, or they use charts or apps or something. What do you use to manage or mitigate stress? Or
well, I think, it's different for everybody. I'm still such a paper and pencil person. My husband makes fun of me because I only started using my Google Calendar last year. He's like, "Can we please just share a calendar?" And I'm writing it on the calendar hanging on the wall. But I think over the last few years, especially, the biggest thing that's made a difference in being able to calm down and keep track has really been meditation and just finding quiet. I listened to this one guy he's been able to run $1 million companies. He's amazing. And one of his points stuck with me of, as entrepreneurs, we're all over the place. We have constant ideas. Most of us, myself included, are ADD and just bouncing. And it's important to do nothing. And it's very hard for us to do nothing because we find, oftentimes, I'm speaking for everyone, but I'm assuming people are agreeing with this. Mm-hmm. When you're just sitting doing nothing, you think you're wasting your time. But it's so important to just be with your thoughts and allow yourself to just calm down and find that clarity. And suddenly things actually start to make sense. And you realize you have more time than you think, or things don't take as much time as they feel if you are chaotic. So it's been hard, but the last 2 to 3 years have really been a lot of focus on it's okay to just sit. It's okay to just be. I need
to work on that myself. I need to work on that one.
It makes a world of a difference with just how you approach situations, how ready you are to handle something new coming at you, or this past year with the pandemic, how many people completely freaked out and made knee-jerk reactions and just immediately shut down their businesses or just didn't handle things as well as they could have because they were reacting and it wasn't hitting them with the mindset of like, okay, nothing is happening to me, things are just happening. So how do I respond calmly and logically in a way that makes sense and work through it?
That's
I'm not a master at this. I don't have it mastered.
It's but at least you've identified it. Like, that's something, honestly, that I've never even stopped to consider. And I can't think of how many times that I call myself being proactive, but yeah, sometimes my actions don't match the situation. And I go above and beyond, overboard. I'm not going to say above and beyond. I go overboard, and then it's like, all right, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, and I kind of did a lot more than I should have. so that's actually great. A great tip that I'm pretty sure is going to be valuable to a lot of us. Have you ever been an employee before?
I have, not a great one.
Okay. I love your honesty.
Yeah, I've been an employee for many people.
So
I've been a very good employee. I start out really strong, and then I realized like that I don't want to do it.
Fair enough.
So I was definitely that person that had multiple jobs in all kinds of fields, and not that I was fired from jobs. It was just, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and bounced and bounced and bounced. So I was a great employee for the time that I was there, but clearly wasn't going to stick around.
Gotcha. So back then, could you feel like, hey, this isn't for me because I want to own something of my own? Like, was there a feeling there?
Definitely, yeah. And it wasn't, I didn't know that I wanted to own something of my own, but there was a definite, that initial excitement starting a new job and being like, all right, I got this, learning new things. And then, once it becomes the day-to-day, like a little more mundane, then it was this idea of like, well, I want more. I want to do more. I have these ideas. What can I do with it? I'm confined in this situation. So what do I do? But that's more where it stemmed from, of I want to be able to take these ideas and run with it and do something with it. And I can't do it in this type of environment. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to do my own thing, I guess.
So I like your approach to actually, I don't know, it seems like your process is a little more polished on how to deal with an idea. So can you walk us through that a little bit? Like the conception of an idea to actually making the first move. It seems like personally me, I have an idea and 5 minutes later I'm acting on it and probably messing it up 10 different types of ways. But it seems like between the time of the conception of the idea and before you taking your first step to make a move, it seems like you go through a little pre-process right there. It seems to be working pretty well for you. Can you walk us through that a little bit? I'm really interested.
I guess I've never really thought about it that much. I think for those around me, I think they would assume that I get an idea and I just do it. But I've actually been mulling it over for quite some time. So an idea comes to mind, and I'm thinking about it and working through it and working through, okay, who else is doing this? And doing research on that. Is this already happening? Is somebody else doing it? How are they doing it? What's the reaction been? Is it obvious that it's been successful for them or not? And if not, why? And how is it really going to help somebody? So I've mulled through, is this something that I'm even passionate about, that I care about? What if it does take off? Do I care enough about this idea to be consistent and see it through? Or is it going to be something that it's like, it's really kind of boring to me, so I'm not going to really want to continue it long term, so it's not even worth trying it and bringing it up, because what if what if people do want it? And now I've committed to that. So that's a big piece of it is, do I really want to commit to doing this long term? Or is it, something that is like a right now thing and I can commit to a certain amount of time and plan those pieces out? Like, how much commitment am I really willing to give to this? And do I want to give to this? And then from there, the steps to it. How am I going to market this? Who's my target market for it? And make sure I've carved out, again, I guess it really comes down to commitment now that I'm like talking through it, which I haven't done before. The commitment that it takes of my own personal time, the commitment of marketing and advertising. Do I have that to give? Because once you start, you can't back off. And do I have people that are able to take over it? A lot of times, especially, with Duxbury Fitness, like if I'm offering a new service, do I have staff that can take over this and do it? Because I can't take on a new service. That's not my job to create and take on new services. My job is to run a business. So if I can't do it, then I shouldn't do it.
I think that's great. Like, you're very aware of your positioning within the company. A lot of business owners don't say it's not my job to take on a new service. I'm a business owner. A lot of business owners believe that they're supposed to implement, or they're supposed to implant themselves in every aspect of the business, including running the day-to-day operations. But it's very clear that you position yourself in the business as the business owner, and you're able to delegate. That's the word.
It's taking a lot of time.
I was getting there. And find it. I was like, I know there's an easier way to say what I'm trying to say right now, but no, I think that's great. A lot of business owners don't have that bone in their body, and I worked for a company before. I will not say the name. Very small business, but the owner was very hands-on. Small company, about 30 people, but he was very hands-on, and he would drive himself crazy with his hands in every aspect. But it's like, at that point in time, you're wasting money. Why'd you hire me if you're going to try to do my job anyway? And all the stuff you're supposed to be doing is not getting done over there. And now you're going crazy. You're driving everybody else crazy. And now you want to go take a vacation. But guess what? We don't know what we're doing now because you never let us do our job. So
Right.
you're getting on the plane and you're coming back as soon as someone sneezes the wrong way. But you obviously have that under control. I think that's great. So
I don't know if it's under control, but I mean, guess you'll have to ask my employees about that. But,
well, what's that like? I mean, you said previously you were an employee before, but what's it like looking, swapping it?
That's been one of the most difficult things because I had never had management experience before. So, I was employee before. I knew how I wanted to be treated, but the realities of what it is to manage and run something is completely different. So I've just tried to really balance how, what would have been an ideal situation for me. Well, especially when I was training for a gym as a personal trainer myself, what was easiest for me, what I wished they would have done, and try to give that freedom to my employees. I think it's been a little bit of a downfall where I almost don't offer them enough direction, where I don't have, and something I really need is like a truly structured onboarding process. So they do feel like they've gone through a regimented training onboarding process and they have all the skills they need to be able to go and be independent.
Gotcha.
Where I've kind of treated it, it's been a learning curve over the years where they've come on and I've kind of been like, well, I need you to do this and you have the freedom to kind of do it how you want to do it within these parameters. So go, be free. And they're like, great, I'd like a pair of wings. That'd be awesome.
But like that environment that you're creating is honestly, I think it's one that a lot of creative minds would thrive though. Hey, like you said, I need you to do this within these parameters. You know how many creative juices get flowing, like if you have those individuals. So I think that's a great approach to take. I mean, you're really going to see who your creative mindsets are there.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a balance to be had, right? Like it's not totally fair for them to not have at least like some solid structure and guidelines to be able to get started and feel confident in what they're doing, and then from there get creative. So there's definitely there's a balance, and I guess within the personal training world, it's a little different too, right? Like the creative juices are a little different than I was running a marketing company or something like that.
Gotcha. So No Jack Solutions. I understand what you do there, but is there certain things you specialize in, like business plans or funding? Is there like one thing you specialize in? I'm asking the question wrong. How I should ask this: what is the most frequent, most popular product you offer?
Right. I just launched in March, so still pretty new. I'm working with 2 clients currently that are starting new businesses. And I guess I would say that would be my main niche, and what's most exciting for me and what I would really love is those like business startups. I've always kind of said if I could do anything and money wasn't an issue, I would love to start new businesses and then pass them off and go do something else.
Nice.
I just everything from the brainstorming idea process through determining your target market and determining your design and your colors and your logos and whether it be a brick and mortar or online and all of that. It's just so exciting to me. So that's my main group. That being said, those, it's hard to find those people, and funds are tough for people just starting up. So, trying to say like, hey, pay me. Pay me for this while you wonder how you're going to pay for everything else.
No, I'm sure they appreciate it.
That being said, for your viewers, I will have an offer at the end, so watch till the end.
Okay, there we go.
So the goal is to have those startup businesses that I'm working with, and then to also bring in small businesses that are already established, like myself with Duxbury Fitness, where as business owners, we can all talk with one another. And the ultimate goal is to create like a roundtable where I'm working with business owners one-on-one, helping them with specific needs, but also we're coming together as a roundtable to bounce ideas off of each other and using each other as a support system of, hey, I'm trying XYZ with Facebook ads, and another business owner might say, we did that and it did or it didn't work, and here's why. If I were to do it again, I would suggest trying this, and be able to share that knowledge with one another and have that group to lean on and to get excited and stay motivated, because that's a huge part of it too. Is like I said, it gets lonely and it's easy to lose motivation and to just be tired. It gets exhausting sometimes. So having that group of like-minded entrepreneurs to go to reignite why you do what you do, that's a goal of No Jack as well, to build to be able to get to that point.
I think that's great. I think
right now I would love to get another 2 to 3 business startups to work with to help those business owners feel confident coming through and getting their business going the right way, and have that support system and have that cheerleader there to tell them they can do it, and there to tell them like, no, that's dumb, don't do it that way. That's not going to work, because you need that. You need someone to just, and I'm fine with being like, no, Nope, don't do that.
How together are these guys when you first meet them and they come on as your client? How organized are they? How savvy are they in what they're doing?
So one of my clients, she comes from business. Her family owns a fairly large business already that she works with her siblings. So she knows what it is to run a business, and she's looking to kind of shift gears and start her own thing. So like her passion. So it's been very interesting talking with her because she kind of comes at it from a bigger business mindset and more corporate style mindset, and now going into like the health and wellness worlds where it's about her passion and what she wants to do, but also make money from it. So that's really been cool. And I've been working with her quite a lot this past week on getting her logo designed. She has a graphic designer that she uses, but it gets pricey and the going back and forth gets tough. So I've taken my, mediocre graphic design skills and just worked with her. We sat on Zoom for an hour and drew some stuff up and worked with her to get solid plans. So then she could send that off to the official graphic designer to put it together. We discussed her future goals for her business of long-term, what does she want, so we can make sure things get set up to meet those goals now. And she's talking about wanting to own an actual location at some point. So like, okay, well, let's start thinking about what you would have to do now to make sure we're taking those steps to get there. And she's already made some contacts for a possible location down the line of building those relationships. So that one's been fun. Another is a woman who's starting a food truck. She wants to do Italian sodas and like cotton candy and like party type food, like carnival style type food. And it's something she's wanted to do for years and years and years. And finally we started discussing it, and she's like, oh, I think I'll be ready in a year or two. And I'm like, how about next spring? So it was just like that kick in the pants. So like, no, you can do this. Let's do it. And I traveled with her to go check out food trailers and meet some people. And so it's, No Jack is it's not really structured in that sense of like, you'll get this week 1 and this week 2. It's what do you need? Your business is individual. So where are your weaknesses? Where do you need extra support? Is it the footwork? Is it just the moral support kind of thing? Is it research? She calls me a Google wizard. So, it's really, there's no bounds to what No Jack can be and what it is. It's a jack of all trades. It's, so kind of playing off of that and, the you don't know Jack. We do know Jack.
Right there. I like it.
Yeah.
I love it. No, I love what your business stands for. I love the whole idea of creating that roundtable network too, because a lot of business owners, especially small business owners at this time, don't feel like they can coexist with each other, let alone actually help each other out, So to be able to create that kind of a community it would be amazing. Can you imagine what a group of business owners in one area actually cooperating with each other would accomplish? Like to be able to learn off of another business owner's experience who's been in business for 10 years. I've been in business for 2 years, and just to be able to pick his brain and learn, hey, don't do that. I did it 5 years ago, and those are all my receipts, and I made no profit off of that. Well, thanks for the advice. We're not doing that.
Right. And the flip side, somebody who's been in business for a long time, and you get a new person coming in, like, hey, have you seen this new technology, or have you seen this new way to advertise to people and to reach people? Like, new business owners are coming into it with the fresh mind, knowing the latest, versus somebody that's been in it for 15, 20 years. It's like, I've just been doing it the same way, still putting flyers on people's cars in parking lots,
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
We can all learn from each other. And oftentimes I find that it's not some big thing that needs to change so much as people just need support. We're social creatures, and we need to feel like we're part of a community and part of a unit. And what better way to bring people together where it's, you're not always feeling like you're in competition with each other. Like we all want each other to succeed, and it helps the whole.
Definitely. All right. Well, we're almost out of time here. Would you like to give us your web address?
Yes, definitely. So it's knojacksolutions.com, KNOW, so KNOWJACK solutions.com. And so for our viewers watching this, our regular rates for our first 3 months are $600 a month as we get to know you, and then we have a loyalty rate of $300 a month. So for anybody watching this, I'd like to offer $100 a week for the first 5 weeks. So super easy. It's $100. I mean, you probably spend that going out for coffee and whatnot. And again, like there's no limits. There's no bounds to what can be done. It's really individual and specific, and what you need, and building up that morale and motivation, and everything from the mental emotional piece of it down to the logistics and the research and all the details and that piece of it as well. So NoJack Solutions, KNOW. Check it out. Book a time with me. I'd love to chat.
Yes. Thank you for being here on the show today, Vicki. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. You are genuinely a warm person, and you could just, feel your need to help people, and it's been a breath of fresh air to talk to somebody with the amount of knowledge that you have, and just self-awareness. You actually have me thinking about a couple of things that I need to fix in my business right now, and the way that I think about and my approaches toward things. So this has been amazing. And
thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Definitely. So everyone, tune in for next week's episode, and you have a great one, Vicki.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye.